Hey guys, me Mike again here with another video reviews. So this time I'll be doing actually Avengers vs X-Men, the other tie-in, not in the Avengers book or the miniseries, AvX versus, and I'm gonna be doing issues 1 and 2. As you can see, issue 1 I had the normal covers. I was actually really upset. Just this is a little side tangent. Issue 1 actually had a Spider-Man 50th anniversary variant. Of Gwen. It was actually really good cover. Just none of the comic book stores in. I went to 3 stores in New York and none of them had them, which is a little disappointing. It's really a really awesome cover, and I usually like picking up variants. If the art is good. And this variant was amazing. I actually thought it was probably one of the best covers of like one of the best comic covers I've ever seen, especially. And um maybe I'll be start doing best covers of the month or best covers of the week. That seems a little tedious. No, I'll figure something out. But yeah, they didn't have it, so I had to pick up the regular one. They had another variant. These books come out with another variant done by Stuart and Immonen. So that looks sort of like a boxing promotion video, but poster boxing. But those are pretty expensive, and I don't think they're really worth the price. Especially when these get done pretty quickly. So AvX versus the basic premise behind this book, just the fights. It basically takes the main fights in Avengers versus X-Men, and expands upon them. Um, so issue 1, um, is done by 2 creative groups. The first fight is Jason Aaron and Adam Kubert. Um, and the second fight is Thing versus Namor, by Kathyrn Immonen and Stuart Immonen. Kathyrn and Stuart Immonen are wife and husband team. Stuart Immonen is you guys might not you guys might recognize him. He actually worked on Amazing Ultimate Spider-Man right before Ultimatum. He's a really great artist, Stuart Immonen. I really like his art a lot. So the Avengers vs X-Men, AvX versus issue 1. So first this issue starts off with Magneto and Iron Man going at it. They're going at it. They're blasting each other, and um, they're sort of just talking about each other and feeling each other out, explaining things. And you find out that Iron Man's not actually wearing a suit of metal. He's wearing carbon nanotube suits. So Magneto can't really fight him or control his body. So Magneto decides to up the ante and pick up this giant metal building and decide to crush Iron Man with it. Um, so they're just blasting each other, and it's just going at it. Iron Man's using a lot of his tech, some anti-magnetic stuff. Um, and he starts repelling a lot of Iron Man's weapons. And Iron Man just decides, he's like, he can't. None of his weapons are going to get through the magnetic field at this rate. So he decides to tap into a bunch of satellites he put up in space. Um, and he draws power from these satellites to sort of give him an energy boost, and he basically blasts the shit out of Magneto. So Magneto somehow ups his power level somehow. I don't know. They really got really weird with the way Magneto's powers worked. He decided that he was gonna draw energy, magnetic fields, because he's master of magnetism. He was to get stronger by drawing power from the planets. I don't know if that's. I don't think that's how it works, but that's what they decide. That's what Jason Aaron decided to do. He basically steals a couple of Tony's satellites and wears them as armor, and they just start bludgeoning the shit out of each other. Start beat the shit out of each other, and Iron Man sort of knocks Magneto around a lot. Magneto's not really the fist fighter type, and Iron Man sent his scanners pick up the Phoenix forces coming, and that a planet just his sensors picked up that a planet just vanished, and Magneto felt the same whatchamacallit. He sensed it. He felt the planet's magnetic field disappeared, wiped out in an instant by the Phoenix. It's a Holocaust, and he survived the Holocaust. Um, so Iron Man decides to fly off and deal with this, and Magneto tells Iron Man to find Wanda, Like they're gonna need Wanda for some reason. Why? I don't know. Apparently the Scarlet Witch is important. I guess, sort of. She, as I said in issue 1, she drew the, or issue 2, she drew the Phoenix. It's coming, or that's where the issue ends. So I'm gonna be reviewing each part separately. Part 1, I guess, is actually the worst of the two parts. It just got weird. I mean, this being a book just about violence, there's some really interesting parts of the book, especially they put these little facts in the corner of the page, sort of explaining things, and it's really funny, these little factoids. For example, when Iron Man and Magneto are fighting, um, there's a little fact. Every Utopia tower weighs 170 tons. Fun fact, Iron Man likes to exaggerate. Fun fact, Magneto has magnetic counting powers. Other silly, like other just random stuff. Um, so regardless of it being a fight book is okay. Just the first part is just they got really weird with the powers, and that's what I didn't like. Other than that, artwork by Kubert's really. He's actually really good at it. Artist. He did a solid job. Everything's very nice and clean. Until until it gets to a weird part where they're blasting energy at each other, it gets a little like there's a lot of lines. It's like what the hell's happening? Um, whew. Other than that, I guess solid, but could have been better. Um, so the second part, which actually the better part of the book, is Namor versus the Thing. And there's some, as I said, there's a little factoid. They explain Namor's punch is of a car moving at 45 miles per hour, or the Thing's punch is a car moving at 75 miles per hour. So you basically see it starts off with Namor knocking the Thing out of the water through a helicarrier, and the Thing sort of grabbing a piece of metal and smacking Namor in the face. Um, and you see them underwater and just going at it. These guys have fought a lot. These guys were never friends. They pretty much don't like each other. Ben Grimm being the Fantastic Four, Namor being the weirdo that likes to hit on Ben Grimm's best friend's wife. One of his best friends, Sue Storm. So they're underwater, just beating the shit out of each other. Um, I don't know how the Thing could breathe underwater for so long, especially with him getting punched in the face. Maybe he had his rock self gives him the ability to not breathe. Maybe he doesn't have to breathe because he's rocks. I don't know. So they're underwater and they're just fighting. You see this big fish attack Ben, and he rips his teeth out, and then he beats Namor into submission with it. And that's how pretty much the issue ends. But Namor sort of escapes and gets out of the water. So the Namor versus Thing issue, part of the fight actually is the best part of issue 1 of AvX versus. Artwork by Stuart and Immonen is his artwork is amazing. He does a great job on artwork. It's some really good stuff. Everything's always clean with him. And the story-wise, in all honesty, the story doesn't matter. What they say doesn't matter. It's just if you want to see superheroes beat the crap out of each other, this is a book for you. So issue 1 is gonna be getting in all honesty, like if I factor in the story part of it, it's gonna get a 3 out of 5. But if it's just an action book, it's gonna get a 4 out of 5. So you could take either or. Either way, you should check it out. You don't have to buy it; just check it out. So issue 2 it consists of actually Captain America versus Gambit by Steve McNiven. He's an artist. He wrote the first arc of Captain America, the reboot by Ed Brubaker. He does the writing and the pencils. And then probably one of the most lopsided fights in the universe, I guess, Spider-Man versus Colossus. By Kieron Gillen. He's probably the premier writer on X-Men right now. He writes Uncanny X-Men, I think. He writes all the X-Men books that Jason Aaron and Rick Remender don't write. So that's like he writes 3, and I think he's writing Journey into Mystery too. So he writes a lot, but Kieron Gillen's a good writer. So match 3, Cap versus Gambit. This actually takes place during issue 4 of AvX. So you see it. You sort of don't you read it. There's only gonna be 6 of them, but they take place every 2 books, I assume. So this book starts off in the Savage Land. You see Cap fighting Gambit, and as I said in my Avengers vs X-Men during 4 review, a lot of the X-Men that left with Wolverine to go to the school, they actually joined up with Scott Summers and his team because they think that Hope will save their race. They're regardless of the beef between Wolverine and Cyclops. So you see Gambit and Wolverine, Gambit and Cap go at it, and you see some sort of explain, Cap, Gambit's powers, he charges stuff he charges energy into matter, which causes it to be unstable and explodes. Explain Cap shield, unbreakable alloy, and Gambit sort of catches Cap shield and charges it, and because his shield is unbreakable, the vibranium steel combination, plus it got upped with some Uru metal from during Fear itself. People forget about that, I guess. He throws it back at Cap, and Gamma and Cap just go at it, and this fight is just lopsided. Cap has the advantage the whole time, regardless of Gambit having powers. Cap is just outmatches him, and Cap sort of backs him into a corner, and Gambit charges Cap's, touches Cap. And he's like, and Cap tells me, "I know you can't charge, living things." And Gambit says, "Your suit isn't living." He's like, "Those aren't made from fish scales." So he charges Cap's uniform and it blows up. And Gambit is sort of cocky. He's like, "You know what? Living legend down for the count." He looks through the smoke. You see Cap standing there, uniform torn, destroyed. He picks up his shield. And they sort of explain, another fun fact: Captain America could run a 40-yard dash in 3.82 seconds. He dashes through and he punches Gambit in the face, and he's down for the count. You then see Cap's belt go, a signal in his communicator go off, and he says, we don't have to chase Hope. I know where she is. Can someone bring me a spare uniform? And that's where it ends. Story-wise, it right out of Avengers vs X-Men #4. It was really lopsided, in all honesty. Pretty much anyone versus Captain America, I guess, is gonna be pretty lopsided unless they have a really weird or like different power. Like Gambit, you throw stars. Cap is Captain America. Not much is gonna happen. Really lopsided. But as I said, if you take it just as a fight book, you're gonna love this. If you try to, if you want it for story, don't read this. In all honesty, do not read this. It sort of helps clear stuff up in Avengers vs X-Men in the series, but it still is just silly. So solid work, Steve McNiven, great art. As I said, I really like his art. And great job. So looking forward to what books he's gonna work on next. And so I'll be giving, as I said, I really don't want to give this a rating to just there's 2 ways to look at it. So the second part of the book takes place in Latveria. You see the Avengers, Spider-Woman, Daredevil, Mockingbird, and Spider-Man. They're in Latveria. They just took down a whole bunch of Doombots, and they find the X-Men come in. And all the Avengers take off to their own dance partners, and Spider-Man looks up, and he's left with Colossus. And not just regular Colossus. Colossus possessed by the Juggernaut dude, Sidorak, the thing that gives the Juggernaut his powers, the helmet. So you see Spider-Man fight Juggernaut, and it's really actually not bad. A lot of Spider-Man quips. He webs up Spider-Man, Juggernaut's, I guess his Juggulus. I think I'll call him. He's Juggernaut on Colossus, Juggulus. He webs up his face, and he's like, this is how this is gonna go. You can't see me. You're gonna swing around. I'm gonna punch you 1,000 times, 1,000 billion times. I'm gonna trick you into falling into some sort of, empty hole or concrete or bottomless pit or vat of molten marshmallows, and that's how this is what's gonna happen. Look, Colossus does this gamma clap type move, this clap, very Hulkish clap, and shatters and knocks Spider-Man away and starts throwing and beating him around. And he starts throwing Doombots at Spidey, and Doombots actually explode. That's a design flaw in them. And Spidey throws one's back, but Juggalos punches it, and it sort of blows up in Spidey's face. And Colossus wants Spidey to give up, and Spider-Man, I think, which is probably the best. If you're gonna read something for story, this is the only page you had to read. The last page of their fight. Um, Spidey says, "You know what? The other thing about a Juggy Spidey brawl, you're unstoppable. Well, that means I have to be unstoppable too." Probably the best part of the book. Spidey standing saying, "You know what? No matter what, if you're unstoppable, you know what? No matter what the beef is, I have to be unstoppable too because, And then the AvX fun fact is actually with great power comes great responsibility. Which is probably as I said, if you're reading it for story, this is the only page. This is probably the best line I think that Spider-Man has said in a not Dan Slott book. It's pretty. It's really, really good. Like, especially since Kieron Gillen doesn't really write Spider-Man. You know. So Daredevil tells Spidey that they gotta go. And he's like, Hope, they found Hope. She's not there. And Spidey's like, I always started warming up. This was gonna get serious. So they leave, and Spidey's like, I thought I was gonna end up, squashed. And Colossus sort of wins this because Spidey left. But in all honesty, I think, Spidey standing up to Colossus was probably the most badass thing, especially since he's outclassed. Spider-Man's always outclassed by everyone, and just the fact that he's willing to keep going, means a lot. And that's where the issue ends. So, as I said, I don't really want to give these books a rating, but in terms of if you add in the story, I'm gonna be giving issue 2 3 out of 5, regardless. Actually, issue 2 gets a 4 out of 5 with the story by itself, story and art combined, and with just the art, I'm gonna give it a 4 or 5 too because it's not a perfect comic book. There's a lot of weird things, but some of it's really good. And as I said, the Spider-Man part, pretty awesome. So not much else to say. Thanks for watching this, guys. I have a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff sitting over there that are on deck to be reviewed. I'm gonna try to get as many videos done tonight before I go to bed. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a good weekend. Let me know what you think about these books, and if you guys have any thoughts or requests, or if you guys want me to review something, let me know. Thanks for watching.